Okay, welcome everyone. It is 3:49 on November 4th, 2020. This is the beginning of bargaining for uh, LCEA and Lake County Schools. We'll start with roll call. Chad Farnsworth for the district.
Michelle
Jake.
Hoppenstead for the district. Sorry, Jake.
That's right. Jake Stein, district.
Dorinda McKinney
Julie
District.
Llewellyn. Oh, go ahead, Dorinda.
I'm sorry, Julie. Dorinda McKinney District.
Julie Llewellyn District.
Linda Shepherd Miller, district.
Jamie Sidoric, district.
All right, that's us.
Stuart Klatt, LCEA.
Kathy Smith, LCEA.
Tracy Wood, LCEA.
Amy Gordon, LCEA.
Kirsten Olafson, LCEA.
All right. We left off last time where you guys had submitted a proposal for an experienced teacher supplement. I have that costed out, and I'm prepared to show that to you guys. And I also took that to executive session last week to present that to the board also. And then last time we looked at the language where we had been on the 1920 contract. I'm sorry. So I've got, if you want to start with looking at the cost out, and I can kind of let you know where we're at with that. We can do that, or wherever you would like to start, Mr. Klatt.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Okay.
You guys will see this in a couple of formats here. One, it kind of reading the language that was presented. I wasn't exactly sure. I felt like it was for folks that had no break in service, but were in continuous employment. But at the same time, I wasn't quite sure, so I costed that out in both methods. So with the aggregate teaching in the district for all years without the break-in services comes out to $3,180,602. And you can see it broken out by the different categories that you guys asked. And this was just a reminder at the rates listed above at 4,000, 3,000, 2,000, 1,000, and 500. And then there's the continuous years in the district at 2.8, $2,815,179. And those were, for the folks that were that had some type of break-in service here and there. Some of those people were eliminated from the qualification of that. So if I was reading it distinctly, I felt like the first top box is what you guys. I wasn't sure, so I just wanted you guys to see it both ways.
So let me looking at your boxes.
Mm-hmm.
The top one is just years of service total.
Correct. No, years of service in the district total.
And the bottom is years of continuous service.
Correct. So if you have people that came and left or had a break in service for some reason, those numbers trickled down a little bit. And that's where that bottom line shifted a little bit.
Okay. So now, when we got the increase of the BSA last year of $75 per student,
mm-hmm.
How much did that, what was that total amount?
I don't have that right offhand.
It seemed like it was 2 point something, 2.4, 2.6 something.
Okay.
So we got that same money again this year. Because they don't take that money away once it's included in the BSA.
Okay. But what they do is, but they also add in, additional expenditures that are, I guess not expenditures, but mandates that some of that money has to be spent on also. So, it's kind of like
And that was with the money we got from the state where they added all that. That was, we ended up taking that out, right?
I need you to phrase your question a little bit. I'm not
Okay,
sure exactly.
The 500,000 or 500 that we got from the state for teacher salary adjustments. And for this year.
That was 7.2 million.
Okay. So, and then so all of the funded mandates, quote unquote, were included in that money. So it came out of that.
Incorrect.
Incorrect? Okay.
That $7.2 million only went towards what we just negotiated and ratified to give teachers the raises to the minimum increase. The things I'm talking about are like the 2.5 million roughly increase that the district shouldered to FRS contributions and things like that.
And that was a separate amount that the legislature gave. I know that. So
not gave, that we had to cover. So, and then, in the prior year, the $75, we've had discussions about where that was directed and how that was spent. Portion of that, it depends on where you place the priority of where someone wants to say those general fund dollars were spent, whether it was additional insurance contributions or other areas of additional costs that we've had. That money went to kind of wherever you want to say it went for things that had to be covered by general funds.
So the insurance, a lot of that we ended up, because of the plan redesign, making money that we could put into the contingency or reserve fund.
That's incorrect also.
Then
The plan design changes, whenever you have a plan design change, you don't recognize any income off of that. You have plan design changes it's more of a prohibitive action to curb the behavior of your plans and your claims, and with the hope that you're going to have prospective savings moving forward. And it's going to be okay. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
And that as we move forward and start looking at insurance soon, that's going to be kind of hard to distinguish what the impact that our plan design changes have, because our insurance fund's looking very healthy because we had so few claims from spring on, and then people sitting tight when a lot of times they go to the doctor during the summer months. So the healthy look of our current insurance fund is, it's going to be hard to determine how much that can be attributed to the lack of claims and how much could be, from behavior of the members based on the changes to the plan design.
It seems to me the insurance committee, as we talked, that was the savings from redesigning the plan would be put into contingency funds.
Well, you would hope when you recognize the savings, but you don't recognize savings immediately off of a plan design change. And we've explained that numerous times.
Okay, so bottom line, 2.8 mil.
We don't have it. Our financial condition has not changed as far as being at a point where we can put out a 2.8 to roughly $3 million for you guys' proposal. So I do not have a counter offer to this, but we cannot afford this. It's very similar to, this will be a 1-year agreement, but on top of that, So I get where, in essence, it could address a year of what you guys are intending for it to address. But it's very similar to our lift program that we couldn't afford that we had in the past, as far as, pushing out $4,000, $3,000, $2,000 to different groups, teachers in a stipend form. That was why we had to move away from that program, because we could not afford to sustain a continued effort with that. So I think they understand the intent. I think there's an appetite to try and, look at what can be done for, our more experienced teachers in the district. They fully understand how the legislature has put their hands all in how we, distribute money, and it hasn't fallen in favor of the most experienced teachers. But there's just not a lack of fund balance still to do anything significant towards that.
When I pay my bills, I have to pay for what I find is important. So when my electricity goes up or my internet goes up, even though my budget stays the same, I have to find money to pay for that, because that's what I find important. So on the one hand, we're saying we find our experienced teachers important, but we're not trying to do anything with the budget to make that happen. So that's just an observation.
That's an opinion.
It's my
based
opinion,
on your
yes.
observation. But we don't have the luxury of printing our own money, and we don't have couch cushions we can look under if our phone bill goes up. What we have is how we're funded through the FEFP, and that's determined by the legislature. And it so happens they've moved to a new, we can continue to kind of say the same things over and over again, but we're going to have to look at, through a different lens and accept the fact that our current way of doing business from the state is they have grabbed control of how they're going to allow us to spend money towards teachers. And, they said a significant amount to do it this last time, but, it started with when they started doing it with Best and Brightest. They have made a conscious decision to, get teachers money outside of this process almost. I mean, that's why we worked so hard with that 20%, because we felt like they had removed that local control off a very significant amount of money that wound up, providing some people with the least experience tremendous amounts of raises, and then the rest of the story.
So, and you said it, we've got to change our paradigm in order to do the things that we want to do. So is there anything that we are looking at structurally, budgeting wise, that's going to be changing our paradigm, or are we continuing business as normal, hoping that something changes?
I think we're going to continue to operate in a fiscally responsible way as a district. And, we're in an interesting time right now to where no one in their right mind is going to think that, there's just millions of dollars that are going to flow out of Tallahassee through the BSA. I mean, at this point, I'll be thankful if they uphold, the additional $7.2 million that they gave us this year, so we can keep it whole next year. And not to mention the interesting challenges we have ahead, in the upcoming legislative sessions and how they're going to work our FTE in the near future. Yes, ma'am. Your mic.
Please educate me, because I am not familiar with this. I understand that we do get money allocated from our county commissioners. Am I correct?
We get local property tax dollars for our capital needs.
Okay. Oh, just for capital?
Mm-hmm. You have to spend those on capital.
Okay. So when it comes to state money, last year, thanks to COVID, many teachers who did not get their best and brightest, did not get their little boost for being a possible A school. Where's all that money coming from? What? Because I don't have a clue how we're getting this money. I thought we got some from our county commissioners for teacher raises. I didn't realize it was just for buildings. But we're getting more and more and more and more kids every day, more and more homes being built. There's got to be something coming into the schools.
You don't, until you recognize that enrollment through FTE periods, that's when they fund you for that. So you're right, though. I mean, I will say this, we have seen some growth in some of our schools, even out without kids returning from virtual. They're kids that are new to us altogether. So we will recognize additional FTE in future reporting periods. So we're encouraged by that. But because we're getting, I think, who knows what the source is, but we're upwards of 500-600 kids just from Orange County. And I don't know if it's because parents aren't commuting anymore and they're able to work from home. So they're sending their kids to school from here. I'm not real sure, but we are, that's good news, because when they go to do readjustments, if we're showing an upward enrollment trend, that means, they'll at least fund us, hopefully at our projection. What we're waiting to see is are they going to fund us at the virtual level, or for so many of those kids that moved over there, or will we get a full hold harmless FTE for those students? And the way the commissioner described it when he came out was they were going to reward the districts that were doing well in that area. Don't know what that means.
Okay, so again, I am not well versed in how districts are funded, and I'm trying to learn this. And I agree with bargaining, not arguing. So given what's here, can the district offer anything to counter? Is there anything there to offer to counter? Because I mean, I'm the one, and the other reps are the ones who hear our fellow teachers complaining every day about, why am I still at the same salary? All of a sudden now, we've had the voters vote in a $15 an hour minimum wage. You've got teachers who are not making much more than that. $15 an hour minimum wage. There's got to be something coming in from somewhere. Do we need to send representatives to county commission meetings? Do we need to send representatives to Tallahassee? What do we need to do to get those funds to pay our teachers?
You've got, the county commission doesn't have much to do with anything of how we're funded. From the county level, we do have the additional referendum money that covers safety and security issues, but that's not operations either. It's the state level, and we do send our lobbyists to Tallahassee to advocate for large portions to try and fund us. Every year, we do preach to them to fund us at the average. If we were funding at the average, you'll hear some of our board members say it over and over. We would be in much better shape and be able to do all the things that we need to do and honor the people we need to honor. But then there's smaller issues we've attacked, like
Can I apply to be a lobbyist? Can I apply to be a lobbyist? Because obviously our lobbyists are not doing their jobs.
Actually, they do a great job. And they brought many programs and special things to our district. And they, worked to get a few $1 million back over the last few years towards the compression. So they've done really good.
I need to do a caucus.
Okay. If you've got a separate room set up,
I can go to a separate room.
Okay, we'll stay here and leave this one open. It is 4:09 on November 4th, 2020, and we'll go into a caucus. Okay, everyone, it is 4:20. We are returning from caucus on November 4th, 2020. Mr. Klatt?
Well, I am going to defer to, I believe, Melissa.
Okay, Mr. Farnsworth, since LCEA has brought a proposal to the table and the district has chosen to not even give a counter, we would like to end this meeting now to go back to our members and get their thoughts to come back again.
Okay, before we exit, could I ask a few questions?
Sure.
Of course.
Or just at least speak to some other interactions I had. I did reach out to PERC to determine, what are the next courses and steps for both parties if neither is declared impasse and, we had yet to ratify the contract for 1920. And their statement to me was that there are no laws or provisions that dictate how we handle that. So, the ball's in our court on how we move forward. Earlier, sessions back prior to all our pandemic bargaining, and my recommendation was that we move forward into open book in some form or fashion. My recommendation remains in that we move to the 2021 open book and declare bargaining to begin for this year. And we will be willing to, any language that we agreed to from the district perspective that we went over in our last session, could be there, and then we could start bargaining for open book. I think if we at least need to have some plan of action in mind, rather than just, do you have money? No, we don't have money. Okay, we're logging off, because we're going to continue to just be stuck in this rut that we're in. I think we've got a lot of undefined and undetermined times ahead of us as we move throughout the course of this year. So we still need to be making some progress. So that's where we're at from a district standpoint. As you go back to talk to your people, those are some things we need to consider.
And my observation is we've been at this for a year and a half. And yes, money is one thing, but we haven't seen any movement on language per se.
I disagree. I think we have had some
And
areas
I'm
where
waiting
we've
for your
moved on
list of language changes to be able to share.
I presented that, and I can send it to you again.
Please do. All right.
Okay, it's 4:23 on November 4th, 2020, and this concludes LCEA Lake County Schools bargaining.